So today we're going to be kind of unboxing and getting a closer look at another classic Etnies shoes, the Kingpin. And when I see this shoe, it just kind of reminds me of like early skate days, like big and chunky, you know. I love the brown suede too, because it kind of gives me that like SXL type of vibe. And I kind of remember like Ryan Sheckler skating these, Sal, like early days of Eric Costin skating these. I could totally be wrong. It could be like a different S shoe or something. But I swear he skated something similar to this. And this shoe honestly is pretty interesting, especially kind of in the Etnies lineup. I kind of like to think of it something in between the Cali cut and the low cut, because it offers something a little bit of both. You know, there's a little bit more stitching than the Cali cut, not as tech as the low cut. Kind of gives you that Stan Smith look, but honestly, like you can see the Sal 23 in this shoe pretty much. I mean, if you just had a little rubber ollie patch right here, added some more stitching, you know what I mean? Do you see it? I guess we'll break down this shoe kind of really quickly. We got a cup sole here. It's a suede, so it should be pretty easy to break in. I mean, it's a big chunky shoe. We got a big tongue right here. I'm always a fan of the big tongues. Like if you do flip tricks and whatnot and your board slams on like the top of your foot, happens to me kind of a lot. Nice to have the big tongue. Also, you can't really see because they are black in here, but it has elastic straps around the tongue. I always love that. I feel like growing up like in the 90s, always having like a 90s skate shoe with a big puffy tongue that's elastic. It's just nice. You know, you can slip your foot in and out of the shoe really easy. The tongue doesn't go left and right. You don't have to worry about putting the lace thing in the middle, you know what I mean? I don't know, I'm just a big fan of it. Also, I just like a big puffy cup sole in general. Just around the heel, like when I do heel flips, I kind of like that bouncing off my board. When I have Volk shoes on, it seems to kind of hit me in the ankle a little bit more. You're probably wondering, since this shoe is so puffy, is there zero board feel? And it's funny because surprisingly, it is a little stiff. I bet you there's gonna be a lot more board feel than I think. I mean, we can kind of crunch it fairly easy. The insole is really nothing that crazy. It's just like the normal kind of thin blue STI level 1 insole in here, nothing too gnarly. It's already a pretty big kind of chunky shoe, so I feel like you don't really need anything that crazy. The other thing I do want to mention about this shoe, it actually is only double stitched around the toe cap. I do prefer the triple stitching. I feel like it just holds up a little bit better. When I skate dunks, I'll only have the 2 stitching and I'll rip through that fairly quick within a week or so. I feel like the triple stitching usually lasts me a little bit longer. Even on my Sal 23s, I actually didn't even rip through the toe cap for like a while because of that triple stitch. Also, the low cut has a triple stitch as well, and I feel like that does kind of help the shoe hold up a little bit more. So before we try these shoes on and kind of see what they look like and what they feel like, I do want to show you the comparisons between the other shoes. This shoe really fits in between both of these shoes for a few reasons we got going on here. I mean, first of all, you can kind of tell like this is kind of like your slimmest version. This is actually, I feel like it probably goes this way. Slimmest option gets a little chunkier and then gets the chunkiest. Like even right here, you can tell the Kingpin is definitely chunkier than the low cut. And then you can kind of see this kind of in between. This might be wider, but it's definitely a thinner shoe, if that makes sense. This does kind of appear a little bit more narrow just because of the back right here. And obviously the toe cap is a little bit more narrow, where this has a much more rounded toe cap, kind of similar to the Kingpin. So you can kind of see where the hybrid kind of is going on here. I think the other notable thing is actually the grip right here, is what I really wanted to kind of point out with this shoe. So this is the Cali cut. Kingpin has the Cali cut grip, and I actually seem to like this a little bit more than the low cut grip. The low cut grip just in the beginning isn't the grippiest. I feel like the more you skate it, the grippier it gets. Where with the Cali cut grip right here, this was surprisingly really grippy just right off the bat. And don't get me wrong, these low cuts are like a non-slip grip, so that might have something to do with it. But it is pretty funny to see that the Kingpin is very similar to the Cali cut. It's just like the rounded toe cap, but with stitching right here. I actually feel like this might last a little bit longer just because there is no stitching to rip to. You just have that nice rounded toe cap to just keep flicking off of. Where this, you're gonna probably rip through that a little bit quicker, but I actually don't know how thick this shoe is. We haven't skated it yet, so I don't know what it's like. But you can kind of see on this shoe, you kind of have the triple stitching. You have a whole suede layer before the actual leather layer. So there's a lot of material already to go through before you start busting your shoe in this. So it'll be interesting to see how this shoe actually skates and holds up. All right, I think we're done talking and comparing these things. Let's try these shoes on, show you guys what they look like, and let you guys know how they feel. One thing I do actually like about this shoe is kind of the minimal logoing, how the E is just kind of perforated in there, which is kind of nice. You just have the little Etnies tag and little hit right there, and of course on the tongue. But I do like that about this shoe. Okay, so kind of back to what I was saying about just slipping your shoe on, you know what I mean? When you have that big tongue and that elastic tongue right there, you know, you can just literally slip that bad boy on so easy. Okay, so I definitely want to say they are true to size. I am a size 9 and these are size 9 and they fit me perfect. Like my toes right to the edge of the shoe right there. I got some cat fur on here and they're not super narrow, but they definitely kind of lean a little bit more on the narrow side than the wide side. I think if you want a wider shoe, the Cali cut might actually be better. I do feel like a little bit kind of crammed right here, so I'm sure that'll break in with the suede, but kind of fresh off the bat, like they do feel really good actually. Like they don't feel too big or too small. Like my feet are very snug. And I'm not gonna lie, I just like how they look, honestly. The look of them is not bad. I just like how they look. Like, they just look so chill, honestly. They're just a subtle looking skate shoe, you know? It just looks like a very basic skate shoe, which I really like. Even on the back hit right there, you honestly can't even tell. They honestly almost look like old Vans or something, you know what I mean? But I have no problem with like actually how they look, but enough of how they look, how do they actually feel? They're actually a lot thinner than I thought now. I mean, I can't like just push this in. It's not like super smooshy or anything, but I'm definitely gonna have some board feel in this shoe. It's not like there's not gonna be zero board feel. I feel like once this shoe actually breaks in, it'll get pretty board feely. But I just like how they look visually, like they're pretty sick. It just kind of gives that classic 90s skate shoe, you know what I mean? Like I just love it. And with the baggy pants kind of on it too, it just feels like it's just very fitting. It looks like it's meant to be. I feel like I'm literally a kid again or something. But they're pretty chill. I'm not mad about them. They look good. I don't know, comment, let me know. Would you guys rock these shoes? Would you guys try skating these shoes? Because personally, if I don't like skating them, I'm definitely going to just rock them because I think they look pretty cool. Pretty much sums up all we're going to talk about this shoe. I really dig this shoe. It feels pretty good. Aesthetically, I do really like it, but let's see how it actually skates. So make sure you guys stay tuned, subscribe, whatever you guys need to do, because we are going to skate test these things next. And you probably don't want to miss that. I wouldn't want to miss that because these shoes could be terrible. They could be amazing. Now, let me know. Am I tripping or do they look pretty chill?